Good afternoon, everyone. For some reason, there's an enormous amount of sun halos being sighted across our planet in both hemispheres, from the UK to Croatia, the Philippines, New Zealand, Nepal, and as well with strange electrical phenomenon in our atmosphere from last month, one of the largest red jets ever sighted on our planet. Even Forbes now picking it up. The sun's going into a slumber. Grand solar minimum, record-setting low number of sunspots, second year in a row. Would be expected as we're progressing into this Eddy Grand Solar Minimum. So I guess we all have extra deep snow in our cars to look forward to. As Americans seek economic direction during the health crisis, Bank of America is predicting gold to nearly double to above $3,000 per ounce. And gold is often the most sought-after investment hedge to protect wealth during times of economic uncertainty. And with nearly 40 million jobs lost, I'd say these are about as uncertain as times get. With never-ending printing by the Fed, we're fighting an uphill inflationary battle. And no doubt America will recover. However, in 2009, it took many investors at least 7 years to get back the gains lost during the Great Recession. With this much inflation on the way, only one investment stands out: gold. Patriot Gold Group has no fee-for-life IRAs where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver. At Patriot, you work directly with an owner and avoid paying absurd broker fees. Call today or request a free investment kit. PatriotGoldGroup.com. The link's in the description box below. You'll begin hearing more about these words: grand solar minimum, solar slumber, global dimming, and a plethora of others to describe the sun driving our climate and why it's becoming cooler. Because when you start to see the mainstream corporate media picking up on it and now pushing it out that, hey, the food shortages might be because of this sun thing plus the lockdown because there's not going to be enough planting this year. Everybody's so far behind continentally, wherever you go, because of the farmers not able to access supply chains or get into the fields with their regular planting routines as they've done for the last 100 years. The sun is asleep at deep solar minimum feared as 2020 sees record-setting 100-day slump. Remember, the experts told us we'd be into solar cycle 25, which would be equivalent to solar cycle 24. If this were true, we should have been well on our way into solar cycle 25 by now. And even in the links, which there's several in the Forbes article, well written, I encourage you to look at it. There's about 6 links in there you can follow. This one takes us up to spaceweather.com. And I pulled off the left sidebar there, the sun spotless days. Now, 2020 should not be this low, and predictive models from NASA ESA said we should have been well out of this by now. And there have been a few reverse polarity sunspots up there on the face of the sun, but nothing as of yet to really kickstart us into solar cycle 25. Expect it to stay low, far lower than the quote-unquote experts, because the agenda is not to spook the public on a natural cycle. A, you can't tax them, and B, they'll be unruly when they understand that the food's going to get more expensive and less available moving forward. But what I did like about this spaceweather.com article here, they also included the May 1921 geomagnetic storm. Most of you are familiar with the Carrington event in the late 1800s, but this one here talked about electrical phenomenon in the train system as well as the electrical wiring paralyzing the system, which was much more advanced than just telegraph wires here in 1921. And they talk about the aurora being so intense that it actually caused fires off of the lines. Now, we could expect another one of these during this grand solar minimum. It seems that the sun is unpredictable during this time. And also, we would expect more earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and electrical phenomenon in the skies that's far beyond the normal. And picking up Brazilian media here, they're explaining the luminous events from the red sprites that you would see on the left of the chart there. But normally, what you would see is blue jets on the right. These come out of the tops of cyclones, hurricanes, and occasionally a thunderstorm, but that's mainly the red sprites where they're coming out electrically on top of that. But what they're showing you here is where it transitions from blue to red. That's incredibly extreme. Just like Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights, if they're blue and green, that's very light electrical charge. Once they get into the reds and the whites, that is incredibly intense. So following the same color spectrum, the higher it reaches up into the atmosphere, the more it's reconnecting with the electrical field of our sun. And off of strange sounds, extremely rare, gigantic jet lights up the night sky. Apparently this is the largest one ever sighted. Now we saw Steve, the auroral rope, or the field-aligned current that became visible down a magnetic field line in the northern hemisphere. But this is something quite different. Look at the intensity and how high that is stretching up into our atmosphere, well up into the mesopause. And another interesting phenomenon that's begun pretty much in May here, there were literally so many of these. I've just showed us spackling around our planet in both northern and southern hemisphere. I encourage you to go to Twitter or any kind of image search and look for the date and time. These solar halos, for some reason, are appearing globally. Intense and everywhere. Keep your eyes peeled for these sun halos. Starting off here, March 10th, Nepal. This is up on Everest on the China-Nepal border. And then moving forward, Mr. BBB333, excellent channel, by the way. He covers extreme weather events and is a plethora of knowledge, too. Off of his feed here, showing you one out of the UK on May 11th. Really intense. I mean, this looks like it's a flashlight through the sky. And moving all the way over through Europe to Romania, same date, another halo captured. And then the next day, Spain, a halo. Then the day after that, Croatia. And you see this batch here is European-centric. But then we jump down to Auckland, New Zealand, on the 14th. Sun corona. Really impressive picture there. Taking up the entire skyline. That's a sign in the sky if I were to guess what it would be. And then since today is the 16th, jumping back 23 hours ago, on the 15th, we see in the Philippines, we have another one. And then back to Yorkshire in the UK. Stunning photo. I like these rock walls. I was traveling up in the moors and saw exactly something like this. Not the halo, but the beautiful walls. And even today, again, more halos through the UK. And just the most recent image that I took off of Twitter a few hours ago, Hungary. So what is it with all the phenomenon happening in the sky, from the electrical phenomenon, the low sunspot count, the entry into the Grand Solar Minimum, and then all these sun halos? Pretty incredible stuff. And massive snows in Poland. And a quick glimpse at Steve, the filament rope that I mentioned earlier. Field-aligned currents. You can actually see the opposing currents wrapping through the magnetic field line. It's visible because it's such high activity state, but it's following the magnetic field down to the surface of the planet, not the other way around. It's not creating the magnetic field for it to follow. The magnetic field's already there. It's just now following that, which is invisible to our eyes. But because of the intense plasma stream, it turned on glow mode. We're going to see more of these celestial phenomenon as we move through to 2024. So imagine waking up that you left the window down because the previous day it was a nice sunny warm day, and then a blizzard blew in and then your car fills up with snow. These are the kind of flip-flops and extremes that we could start to expect moving forward, just to become the normal, the new normal. Have you heard this phrase before? Yeah, you're about to live it with the climate as well. You're going to have to grow some of your own food because these supply chains, as you see, they're breaking down left, right, and center. So TrueLeafMarket.com, they have heirloom and organic seeds for vegetables in any grow zone across North America. I use it for sprouting as well as growing vegetables. I can attest to the seed quality. I do a lot of microgreens as well, fast growing, and you can put that on salads, stir fry, whatever you like to do in just 7 to 10 days. You have a little crop coming out on a grow tray. And I encourage you to go to the website and then maybe find something that you hadn't anticipated on growing and just experiment to get food in the ground, something in the windowsill, learn how to grow food any way you can this year. This is the rollover year for so many things. As if you haven't seen it already, the world's definitely turned a sharp corner into something else that you were never expecting. Perhaps a diminishing global food supply could be part of the reason that a lot of these things are happening. Hopefully you can grow your own. Links in the description box below. I thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Keep your eyes up to the skies.